Hey everyone, this is Jessica LaCour with 411 Properties. Today I'm going to talk to you about Zillow and why you should not trust that Zestimate, especially in Wyoming. Let's break it down over all of the facts, and that way you can see it very plain, very clear, and understand why realtors often laugh at Zestimates and the public generally trust it. Okay, here we go. All right, so Zillow is probably the first thing you think of when you are wanting to buy a property or look at a property. Literally, it is like the god of all real estate things, and it is the general public that's their first go-to when they're looking for homes. And they have a great platform. It's fantastic. And how it works is it will pull all sorts of info from different MLSs. It will pull info from assessor sites, anything that the public has put on there. When a home is listed, it will actually take all that data and enrich itself and use that. And then in specific states where homes close and it can see the closed values, it will actually record those comps. And then over time, it's been around for a while, it can actually give you a pretty close idea of where your house could be priced at. And usually it is less than 2% off of where a home's value is as of this year in the states that can actually see that data. So good old Wyoming is behind the times, or actually it's because we have not a very high population, and we also do not have our closed prices disclosed publicly. So there's no way for Zillow to actually see what your home sold for. So it's gonna go off of the assessor sites, any listed active prices, which are definitely not comps, and it's gonna have that data in there. So for Wyoming, it's a very, very inaccurate tool. When we have people relocating here, let's say California, or Colorado, very dense areas where Zillow can actually see closed prices, which are your comps, and it can pull in data from like the whole street and give you a pretty good idea of where that home's value is. And they're coming to Wyoming and they're like, well, why is this priced so differently than what Zillow says? And then I gotta explain to them that, hey, we're a little bit different here. Zillow cannot see all of our data. That's what you need us real estate agents for. And we will explain the value of a home way better than any computer could. When I go in to give a client a price on their property, I'm taking into consideration so many things that a computer could never see. Like, is the home smoked in? Is it well cared for? What upgrades are there? Is it appealing to the buyer that is actively looking right now? Different things are gonna make it have an effect on the price. And technically, even if Zillow could see all of our pulled data and closed data, it probably would never come close to the accuracy of a realtor or a human that actually is in the house. One of the interesting things is, you guys might remember when Zillow had their homebuyer process. I think they launched it in 21 or 20, and then they closed it down that same year because it was inaccurate. Fancy that. It didn't work out so well for them because they were buying up all these places and the pricing was just so off. And so it worked not in their favor and they closed that. So that just tells you even more that the computer, the algorithm that they have is great, but it's not super accurate. And that is why you need those real estate agents to actually go in your house and give you the true value of your home in that particular area. And no one knows it like real estate agents. So sometimes I'll have clients ask me, why did my Zestimate change when I listed? And that's a super good question. I'm sure if you looked at it before, you were thinking maybe we were gonna list around a certain price. And then once it's launched, all of a sudden that number changed. So generally Zillow will syndicate or actually the MLS will syndicate to Zillow, and then it will have all of that data and information that we have put in to build your listing. And it will take that price that we have it listed for and put that number in there. So depending if it went up or down, it can change that price. And I'm sure people are like, wow, what's going on? Is it seeing that we could sell it for more or less? Or that's why. It's just pulling all of that data so it can keep it. And then after it's been on, I think the market for a year, then it considers it an old or closed listing. Hopefully you sell before a year, but sometimes not. And then it will just store that data and then wait for a new refresh from an MLS. But that's the only way it can actually have some accuracy, is if your home's been listed prior, and then it will hold that data. Otherwise, it doesn't save anything as far as what the home sold for. Some fun facts are Zillow publishes Zestimates for over 116 million homes, and they update those multiple times per week. So like, that's massive. I can't even imagine. They have a national on-market median error of 1.83%. So that's all combined together. There's about 10 other states that are non-disclosure, like Wyoming. So I'm sure that throws that number off. And then off-market, it has an error of 7%. That's pretty high. I mean, when you're talking about 7% of, 500,000, that's a lot. That's a lot of money you could be leaving on the table or listing your house too high if you're trusting that number. And then again, Wyoming is a non-disclosure state. Zillow confirms it can lack data to even create a Zestimate for a lot of our areas. It can't see anything that is considered a true comp. So that's where you need realtors. You need me to come see your house and give you an idea of where the value sits in today's market. Real estate is very, very local. So these national algorithms or assumptions, they don't see what we see as a local agent that has our hands in it every single day. They're not going to see the trends. Or let's take Gillette for an example. We're a very transient town. People are constantly moving in and out. It's not like Sheridan, where people go to retire, or Spearfish, where they go to retire and generally stay there. People are always moving in Gillette. And when you get that kind of in and out over years, it can make trends a little bit different. So that being said, real estate is very, very local. And so when you have your professional real estate agent come give you a value on your house, it is 10 times more trustworthy than pulling that Zillow Zestimate. I think one of my favorite moments when I'm listing a house is when I'm going through the numbers of what they could sell their home for in today's market. And I can sense something's not right. So I ask, and I get the old trusty reply of, well, that's not what my Zestimate said. So if you're thinking of selling and you want a price that you can count on, have me come over, shoot me the address. I will create a great certified market analysis for you that you can have solid comps on and know exactly where your home is going to sell for. And you can go into listing it with a lot of confidence. Don't trust that Zestimate.